Thank you for watching Snack and Learn, hosted by Pam Pryor.
Well, you know you're on a snack and learn when you hear my dogs growling in the background. Welcome to Tuesday, everybody. I am particularly excited about today's episode because one of the biggest mysteries to me in finance, as a CFO, that's a major weakness, is cryptocurrency. And we are going to learn from the guy himself, the crypto cash flow pro today. I had a fantastic talk with Liam at a mastermind we were at. I had him trapped on a boat in a galley. He couldn't get out. Literally, it was this bedroom thing in the boat. And he was sitting up against the window, and I was blocking the door. And I didn't let him move until all my questions were answered. And then I said, you know what? Please come on a snack and learn. And Liam, thanks so much, because there's so much mystery around crypto that I know you can try and help clear up for us, because you talk about it in plain English.
Yeah, I do my best to. And thank you for having me on. I'm glad I could finally make it. I know I kind of took a minute to respond, but here we are. I'm super excited. And yeah, I love talking about it. So let's hop right in.
Awesome. So first of all, give us a little bit of your background and how you ended up kind of playing in this space, not much less becoming an expert.
Yeah, so I think I have a similar story to a lot of people that are in the crypto space. I wasn't a super early person. I didn't grow up super techie, didn't have any family that was super techie or anything like that. But I really came across it back in 2017, got wind of it on social media, kind of dove into a little bit, understood it to a degree. But one thing that I always tell people is that the context is very important for understanding crypto. So, I didn't know what I know now, but so after 2017, I kind of lightly followed it. And then I actually got into the precious metals industry. So helping people acquire gold and silver. And through doing that, I learned a lot and read a lot about macroeconomics and learning how the financial system works and learning how Wall Street works and, just how things actually operate. And so that naturally led me to, because obviously I was pitching gold as a solution, but as I started learning more and me being younger, I was like, well, I feel like crypto is a natural evolution to precious metals, right? That's been the analog solution for a lot of the problems that we face financially throughout history. And I feel like crypto is basically the 21st century of that, caught up to speed with that. So yeah, just through learning about gold and silver and reading about how stuff works, I just naturally evolved into crypto. So I was following it through 18, 19. My intention was to get more involved at the end of 2019, early 2020. Got a little distracted
Couple things
financially.
Happened.
Yeah, exactly. And then just started getting pretty heavy into it towards mid 2020, and then I went all in at the beginning of 2021. And because a buddy of mine, he showed me his we were working together, and I had made more money than him, and he showed me his portfolio, and I'm like, what am I doing? I've never been one person that spends frivolously or has expensive stuff, but I realized I was pretty unfocused financially, just doing all sorts of stuff all over the place. I was like, you know what? Let me sit down. Let me focus. Let me actually learn about what the heck this crypto thing is. How does all of this stuff work? So I literally sat down and haven't looked back since. And here we are.
That's amazing, because it's one of those things. It's interesting. I'm just going to start peppering you with questions because I have you here. So people have often said, hey, look, Wall Street, that whole NASDAQ exchange, it's really just air. But I can at least get my head around the fact that if you own a share of stock, you literally are a part owner of the assets that have been identified of a company.
Yes.
So I can make that connection.
Yeah.
If I own, and I'll just bring up the most obvious one, say Bitcoin.
Yep.
What do I actually own? I don't get it.
Yeah. So Bitcoin, the stuff that I do with the Crypto Cashflow Pro is a little more understandable in terms of revenue and businesses, because at the end of the day, you have to realize all crypto is software. It's all technology. So just like Google's a software, just like Zoom's a software, just like StreamYard's a software, this is all software, right? It's all technology software. So first of all crypto is a software. Bitcoin is a little tougher to wrap your head around because it's not a business. It's, it's not really, you can't really value it like you can a business, because it's more like gold. They call it digital gold. It's like, how do you really value gold? Well,
Supply and demand.
Yeah, supply and demand. And if you look throughout history, like why has gold been like a store of value asset historically? It's because three or really two main components. Number one is you can't print gold to oblivion like you can with currency. It's somewhat scarce in the sense that it's not as abundant as shells or rocks or whatever has been used as currency historically. And then also it's a bearer asset, meaning that you can actually have full control of it. You can fully own it. Whereas, a lot of things you don't ever really fully own, especially stocks. Those assets are owned by Wall Street.
Yeah.
So those are really two big reasons why I feel like gold has been a store of value and something that's been sought after historically. And those are the same things. So the same reasons that Bitcoin are sought after, because it can't be, printed to oblivion. It's actually has a finite supply, which is unlike gold. So it's even more scarce than gold. And then you can actually have full control and full custody of the asset in a digital manner, which is the first time, like that's what blockchain did. It allowed you to have full ownership of digital assets. And because you can have
basically your ledger.
Yes. And because you can have ownership of something, it now becomes an asset with a price because you can sell it because you own it. Right. And so I kind of refer to Bitcoin as like tokenized trust. And I know you said I speak English. I do my best to speak English.
Well, that kind of makes sense to me. I get it. It's a promise.
Well, yes, because Bitcoin, it's a network and it's a trustless network, meaning you're not trusting any individual, but you're trusting the network as a whole.
Yep.
And the way I like to think of it is crypto allows you to essentially tokenize the intangibles and quantify them. So Bitcoin, kind of like the example that I gave to you, you said, well, like, what's the intrinsic value? Well, it's a software, but it's analogous to a ledger because you're in finances, about ledgers. It's analogous to a ledger that's updated by hundreds of thousands of accountants all over the globe. What's the value?
Every single second.
Yeah. What's the value of that? We don't know because it's never been quantified.
So interestingly, when I hear you say that, I go, okay, I can kind of get this. So gold is a thing. We've chosen to assign value to it. We chose that this thing is precious. There are other limited resources that are as useless as gold. I mean, really, gold's good for jewelry, right? It can't fuel things. It can't do anything except be gold. So we chose to assign that value. Now we're choosing to assign this. And in Bitcoin in particular, there's a maximum number of Bitcoins that can be mined, correct?
Yes, correct.
And have they reached that point yet?
No, it's not reached. It will be long after we're gone. 2140. So 2,140. That will be the year the last Bitcoin is mined. So we don't have it to worry about that.
So very similar to gold. There's still more there we haven't found yet.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I get that. But you deal in something a little different even than that.
Yeah.
And it made more sense to me. Can you kind of circle back with the 50,000 foot level of what you deal in?
Yeah. So as far as what I do, so I do consulting currently, and we focus on cash flow, or hence the name Crypto Cash Flow Pro. We focus on cash flow strategies that have a sustainable revenue. So like I said earlier, that's a little more easier to wrap your head around. I work in what's called the DeFi sector of crypto. It stands for decentralized finance. So there's a lot of different sectors of crypto. Crypto is like the overarching theme. And then you have like NFTs as a part of crypto. Gaming is part of crypto. Metaverse, DeFi, payment systems. So and the reason that it's like that is because blockchain and crypto is a technology. And then you take all these ideas and you apply those ideas to the technology. So I always say, what's happening isn't new. It's just how it's being executed is new. What's not changing, how is. Just like, so you want me to expand on that a little more?
Yeah, I do. I'm the same stuck I was on the boat when I wouldn't let you out of the room.
So, I mean, to kind of an example, I wasn't around in Apple's creation, but, obviously Apple's two biggest inventions were the iPod and the iPhone. See, what they did, they didn't change what was happening, but how they did it changed, right? They moved it from analog to digital.
Got it.
So DeFi in this sector specifically, and really crypto as in a whole, is taking what's been left as analog to digital, or from horse and buggy to engine.
Yep.
Right. We're
Yep.
just making that transition into something that's more efficient, because, in the case of DeFi, it deals with finances. Like, personally, my experience and why I love DeFi and why I love crypto is because.
Tell me what DeFi stands for.
So that's a decentralized finance. So essentially, you're not doing, instead of you doing a transaction with an LLC or an organization on the other side, you're doing it with a software.
So there's
And
no middleman kind of thing.
yeah, there's there's middleware, but there's no middleman, right? There's no individual. It's a software that you're interacting with, but it's peer to peer. So everybody, businesses, individuals can come to this software and participate in the free economy. And so, like, my experience is, couple of them, if you ever want to refinance a house, it takes 30 days. And my friend of mine did that recently. It took forever. It's like, if his house could be turned into an NFT or some sort of blockchain asset, he could get a loan against it instantly. I have a whole life policy. For me to get a loan, I have to fill out a piece of paper. Because I'm in California, I have to wet sign it. I have to fax it in. They have to process it. That, it's relatively quick, 1 to 2 business days. But guess what? I can't do that after 5 o'clock. I can't do it on weekends. I can't do it on holidays. You can't do any sort of banking, anything related to finance. You can't do after 5 on the weekends or on holidays. Why?
Got it.
You can access the internet on all of those days. You can send emails. You can access social media. You can do Netflix. You can watch YouTube. You can play video games all the time. Why is our finance restricted? Well, that's essentially what DeFi is doing. It's moving the financial system from the horse and buggy to the engine.
Got it.
It's doing what email did to the post office. Now, I use that specifically because the post office is still around, right? There's still a use case for the post office, but obviously for certain messages and certain information that you want to convey, it's obviously a lot easier to use email than a post office.
Right.
So yeah, that's the kind of the way that I think of it. And because these are services, because these are softwares that are providing a service, whether it's taking, helping you exchange between your crypto assets or helping you take loans against your assets, just like on Wall Street, banks make all their money by lending out assets and earning interest, and they give you none of the upside. On Wall Street, there's these things called high frequency traders and middlemen who make pennies. You probably have heard about it through the Robinhood fiasco. That's billions of dollars that's a multi-billion-dollar industry that most people don't know about. That, through crypto and DeFi, the average retail investor who's not a big corporation, who doesn't have billions of dollars, can actually get a piece of that pie. And, what I love about crypto specifically is, in stocks, you kind of have to choose between dividends or growth. Like, do you want your money to go up, or do you want to get paid on a quarterly basis, right? And you can't really get the both of those. So with crypto, you can get both. You can get assets that perform very well. Now, granted, it's very volatile, but if you have a long-term investor mindset, like you would with anything else, generally it goes up.
So the same principles apply.
100%, all the same principles. And so I take it very conservative, long-term. I think of it like real estate, but yeah, you can have assets that perform well and also pay you, and not just every quarter, but every single second of every single day. Because
that's what I found interesting when I was talking to you. So one of the things that this does is it generates current cash flow. Even though it's a long-term investment play, you're generating daily, secondly, minutely, cash flow. And that then, like, do you reinvest that just like we would on the stock market, or do you do you determine some sort of allocation between reinvestment?
Yeah, exactly. So it just depends on the asset and how I feel about the asset long term. Some assets are a little more risky, so I convert those to cash. Some of them I see the long term vision and I study them very closely, so I reinvest those. So yeah, it just depends on the asset itself that I'm earning and where it's coming from, and what I need at the time.
So are you talk to me about how you work with your clients? Are you the guy who I say, here's my $10,000 I want to drop into the crypto market, or 100,000 or whatever it is, and I want you to manage it for me? Are
No,
you that guy, or do you educate me on how to manage it? How does it work?
no. So I'm not that guy yet. We're working on that, but
Okay.
not yet. So the way it works now is, and that's a great thing about crypto, is that so the way I work is all my clients, all my consulting clients, they keep full custody of their assets. They are fully responsible. They all get hard wallets just like this, and they keep ownership of all their assets. I don't ever take custodyship of them.
Okay.
But what I do is I take them by the hand. We get on Zoom calls, kind of like this. We talk about strategies that are available, what you can earn and how risky it is, etc. They say, hey, I like that. Let's do it. And then boom, I show them the websites, I show them the buttons to click, I show them how to execute on those strategies. But yes, so everybody's hands-on learning in the trenches. 1 to 2 hours a month is all it needs.
Got it.
You
Oh,
you can,
wow.
yeah. So we just execute
Oh,
within
I
one.
imagine this is one of those things you had to hover over all day, every day.
No. That's
Okay.
that's the great thing about it. It's a set and forget strategy. You don't have to watch charts, time markets, or trade. You don't have to deal with toilets, tenants, or termites like you do in real estate. You just now, granted, now if you're doing this by yourself, it's going to take a long time to learn what the strategies
But
are.
you're doing the research.
Yes, exactly. I've already
Okay.
done all the research, so I'm sharing with you. Hey, here's the best strategies that I'm aware of, and
Got it.
and then we implement those that are set and forget. And then I am working on a fund where it is going to be a little more active, right? We're going to be doing a
Got it.
little more risky stuff, so we're going to have to be more active with it. Which in that case, we'll be handling and taking custody of the assets. But if somebody wants to get involved with crypto and they like the idea of crypto and they want to, instead of having stagnant equity, as I like to call it, they want to get their assets working for them. Crypto, and I was just on a call with a client, a prospect earlier today. He wants to start generating crypto or cash flow and passive income because he recently had a kid. He doesn't want to work as hard as he has been, but he feels like he doesn't have enough money to get involved with real estate, or does he have enough time to start doing real estate by himself? And then he's got stocks, but all his stocks do is go up and down. They don't actually pay him. So
Yep.
crypto is really the lowest barrier to entry to get passive income sustainably.
So
And
what is
that's
the, like, couple things? How much do you have to start by yourself? And how much would a client need to have to start working with you, or does it matter if they want
Yeah, so
coaching?
by yourself, I mean, you can start with a couple $100, like even $1,000. I have a university. It's like $500 for the year, as long as you have like 1 to 2,000, $3,000. Like you can go in there and make all your money back over a couple of months. Working with me, I really encourage everybody I work with to be able to invest 50,000 over about a 3-month period, and then ultimately the goal is 100,000 over the course of a year, right? But yeah, I mean, $1,000 if you get on a good network like Phantom or Avalanche, where it's cheaper than Ethereum, where it's only costs a couple of pennies or maybe $1 per transaction, and yeah, you can definitely start generating cash flow instantly, and that's a great thing because it's running 24/7. The cash flow is always being generated.
This is you led me to two questions.
Yeah.
One is you held something up and called it a hard wallet. What is that?
So this is a fancy USB, and basically this is how you never get scammed or taken advantage of out of your crypto. I don't know if you've
Okay.
heard stories, but I had somebody in my network who I spoke to, tried to get them booked on my calendar, and then a few weeks later they ended up losing close to $200,000 worth of crypto
Ugh.
and NFTs because they got phished, right?
Oh.
Somebody socially engineered them and they handed over their stuff.
Ah.
And then somebody else who got hacked because they clicked on a bad file and downloaded a program they didn't know about. These are problems that you can face in or out of crypto. But this will help protect you against a lot of that stuff because you're essentially creating a physical deterrent.
Got
Right.
it.
So if you don't have this and somebody hacks your computer and like uses it remotely, they can just send all your crypto from your wallet to them. But if you have all your crypto connected to a device like this, they can't do that. They would need to physically interact with this device to actually
Got
move
it.
the crypto. Yeah.
So that's a never lose this device, correct?
What's that?
That is a never lose this.
No, you can lose this. You can lose this. So what matters is what's called the seed phrase, and that's what gives you the ownership of the crypto. So usually or a private key. So a seed phrase is usually like a random 12 to 24, randomly generated 12 to 24 words. And that's what you never want to lose. That's what you have to treat like your social security,
Got
and
it.
even more precious than that, because you do have full custody and you have full ownership of your assets. You have no one to call, God forbid, you do something dumb, right?
Yep.
You're on your own. So, always, if you're going the responsible way and you want to own your assets, because number one, there's no backdoor to this, if you know what I mean.
Yep. Yep.
If you're scared about an exchange going down, because there's been a lot of horror stories about even crypto exchanges back in 2018 where they literally just went offline and people never got their crypto back.
Whoa.
Right. And I think it's just important, as I was in the gold industry, that's one thing that I always like promoted to people, like, own your assets. I think that's why people like real estate, because you can own it to a degree unless you don't pay your taxes, right? But
Yeah.
you can have ownership of it. And it's so funny when people say, well, crypto's not real, you can't own it. I had somebody say that to me. I'm like, actually, it's the complete opposite. You can take full ownership of it, unlike stocks.
For the first time, right?
Yeah, exactly, in a digital 21st environment.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it is a real brain twister, but it
Yeah.
is actually more secure. So the other thing that you mentioned were two things: Phantom and Avalanche, and you called them platforms, I think.
Well, they're more networks, ecosystems.
Networks. Okay.
Yeah.
So do you pick one and that's where you invest, kind of thing?
Well, that's actually another big thing, that a misconception. So there's two parts. So a lot of times, so on every token, in most cases, if it's a good project, if it's a good token and it's not just some random meme or poop coin, it'll have a token and a platform or a network.
Okay.
So Bitcoin there's two parts to Bitcoin. There's Bitcoin, the asset, and then there's Bitcoin, the network, which is all of the people that mine. And through that network, there's actually been something developed called Lightning. Now, the Bitcoin Lightning Network is essentially built to make Bitcoin transactions instantaneous.
Okay.
So it essentially moves money through the network without the need for the Bitcoin, the asset. It moves it through the network. Yeah. So just like the internet is a network that moves information, a lot of these, so some of them are what are called platforms, which are like applications, just like you would download on your phone. And then you have the network, which is like the iOS. So like, obviously, if you have an iPhone, you have the iOS platform, and then you have applications on top of the network. So some projects are platforms, some are networks. So
got it.
So Avalanche and Phantom in particular, those are networks where people can build on top of them.
Got it.
But they also have their respective token, their respective asset, because in order for you to do the transactions on those networks, you have to pay the gas in those tokens.
Got it. So do you have multiple hard wallets, one for every place you play, or?
Well, I have two hard wallets, just backup in case I do lose one, or if this one,
got it,
I don't know, God forbid something happens. But no, you can, just one. You can work on pretty much all the networks and go exploring all over the place.
Okay, so a couple things. One is, I know that people can go to this DeFiDocs.io.
Yeah.
And I'm going to copy that into the comments for sure. And that's a newsletter that you produce.
Yeah.
But you said something about a university and $500 a year. And if I'm going to join that tonight, will I find that link here? And will it walk me through kind of step-by-step how to get started?
Yeah, I can provide the link. So just to clarify, so DeFi Docs.io, that's a free resource. It's a bunch of docs, hence the name Docs.
Got it.
You can, if you don't want to, put any money up front, you can just go there. There's lots of literature for you to read, just about what is crypto. It starts with what is crypto, and then it progresses into DeFi and stuff like that. But then also on that DeFi Docs page, you have ability to opt in for the weekly crypto wraps. So every Monday we send out basically a macro view of what happened with crypto over the last week. We try to keep it, crypto beginner friendly. So if you want those, every Monday. And then as far as the university, that's more, a university. So that's actually DeFi Pro U. So like
DeFi
DeFi.
Pro U.
Yes. So
.com
that'll,
or
yep,
DeFi Pro U.com.
DeFiProU.com, exactly.
Okay.
And so that's the university. It's beta right now, $500 for the year, 1,000 for lifetime. Once I get it finished and rounded out, it might go more because
Yes, as your CFO, it will go more.
yeah, I mean, $500 to teach, $1,000 to teach you how to generate cash flow to the tune of 20, 30, 40, 50% for life, or at least for the next couple of years. If you're working with large amounts of money, that's a steal. So DeFi Pro U, $500 for the year. You can get the lifetime for 1,000 right now.
Awesome.
And that's, the mid tier, if you just want to play with a couple $1,000, you're not ready to, because like I said earlier,
not ready to put 50 in the game, but you want to just play around with it, get comfortable.
Yep,
so
exactly.
Does that group do you do video training for them at all? Or is it, what's the university like?
Yeah. So right now, it is it's all built on Kajabi. So it's,
oh, cool.
And there's a Facebook group. I'm still working on, like I said, it's in beta. So I'm still working on all the specifics.
Well, that's why we get in at such a great price is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, exactly.
And we can be part of helping you define it.
Yeah, exactly. But, running my consulting, working on content for that, but I'm also working on getting a fund together, like I said earlier, to have the option to just not to be completely hands-free. So working on that. So yes, I find it hard to run, or not hard, but yeah, I'm just still trying to figure out my schedule in terms of how I can allocate time to start doing maybe monthly or weekly calls, or I'm probably going to end up bringing somebody in to help start me run some of that stuff.
Well, when you start doing that, that's when your price goes up too.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, for right now, it's just all videos, and I share, I'll share an update in there once a month on my own portfolio, have access to my portfolio, my thought process. And then, so that's what's in there right now. Yep.
Very, very cool. Well, I'm going to be checking that out for sure, because that's one of those things it's like, you can get a Coinbase account and throw some money in it, but that feels to me like, I know there's a good analogy for it. I'm just not coming up with it. It feels to me like that's not where the real game is played. That's where, I don't know, but it just doesn't feel like, after talking to you, I realized there's a whole different way to look at this.
There's a veil.
Yes.
Behind.
Yes. That's what it feels like. So that's fantastic. So folks, couple places to find Liam. One is DeFiProU.com, which I've put in the comments. The other is through DeFiDocs.io, where he shares some weekly wisdom, where you have the opportunity to sign up to get some weekly wisdom shared with you, and also some free resources there. Yep. And then I know he hangs out on the internet, guys. Yeah. So, Facebook, you can find him, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I've seen him and his stuff is really good. So Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn.
I post some content on there every now and then.
Okay, cool.
And then if you are ready to maybe take it to the next level, and you do have 50,000 you're willing to allocate, you can just go to the website cryptocashflowpro.com, and you can apply to book a call with me and my team.
Awesome. Crypto Cash. I'm going to drop that in the comments as well. And that's for greater than 50K ready to invest in crypto.
Yeah.
All right. Very cool. But it's neat. You've created kind of a playground for people to practice at the lower levels. And then if it's something that they feel comfortable with, or, they'll see you a lot on video, decide if you're the guy, and be able to build that relationship with you over time if they want to, take some portion of their wealth and put it in crypto. This has been awesome. Thank you so much. Both for letting me corner you on the boat, but then even more for coming and sharing this.
It's a pleasure.
This will be out there on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. So, we will make sure that you get the link to be able to share it if you find any snippets of it useful for your crowd. But I can't thank you enough for coming in and helping us.
This was a great, I love the energy, the vibe. It was very calm and cool and collected, and I loved it. Well, thank you so much for having me on. Are you going to be in Utah? The next one's in Utah, right? For Breakthrough?
I'm not going to be in Utah, but I'm probably going to be at the next one. I have a call with Tony that I'm trying to arrange for the summer. So
Gotcha.
we'll probably catch you there. I'm heading up to New
Okay.
York for Steve Sims Speakeasy here in a couple days.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I saw your TikTok on that.
Yeah, so that's my
Awesome.
May event, and then we have a
Right.
couple graduations happening. So
Very good.
fun
All right.
times.
Well, hey, thanks for having me on. Enjoy the rest of your day. And hopefully I look
You
forward to
too.
meeting some of the people in your network, and hopefully I can work with some of them.
Thank you so much, and everybody, thanks for joining us. This one I know is going to get a lot of looks on the replay as well. So thanks so much. Take care, everybody. Have a great
Have a good day.
Tuesday.
Bye-bye.